Mutant Mayhem, Mutant Mayhem, Mutant Mayhem.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I had a good time. Well, anyway, thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Great review. That is good as that part in the Garfield review where we're just making noises.
Check out the Garfield review.
Yeah.
It's on Patreon right now.
Yeah.
Garfield, Tale of Two Kitties.
Plug.
Anyway, we like this better than that, I think.
Yeah, slightly. There's a little bit more merit to it than that.
So what were your thoughts going in? Did you have any preconceived notions about what this movie might be?
Not a lot. I was worried it might be a bit too juvenile. There were parts of it that kind of felt that way, but other parts I was impressed by how it executed things and did some twists on Turtles lore, stuff like that. I don't have a lot of expectations for a lot of properties I like these days, and I feel like that's a good way to go in, because then if it, does anything I do like, I'll come out like, yeah, okay. That was above my expectations.
Like you're cautiously optimistic?
Yeah, pretty much. I like the movie so much, I'm gonna eat Cheerios based.
Yeah, I was like, they're just normal Cheerios, right? It's like, now grab them.
Yeah, it's fun.
Or they're multi-grain Cheerios.
They're multi-grain.
That's what the Turtles are really into.
They're like, we love health. I do want to mention, too, we tried to get the Turtles pizza, Turtles Mutant Mayhem pizza, and here's what we got.
Drum roll.
Da-na! 87 Turtles Great Value Pizza.
Did it, great value.
This is all they had at Walmart here. Maybe this is a Canada thing. We're not getting the Mutant Mayhem pizza, so they're like, here, we'll slap the 87 Turtles on Great Value Pizza for you. That's what we got. Hopefully it's okay. This is another thing to go in with low expectations for.
Yeah, I'm sure this will be some alright generic store brand pizza.
Yeah. Nothing amazing. Ziggy is desperately trying to be noisy over there.
I moved her toy and she went to it.
Yeah, it's new because you moved it.
I interrupted them multiple times.
There's one nitpick I have, which is something I just don't like in animation in general, is when they show live action when they're watching something, because I feel like it breaks the immersion of the movie's world a little bit when you see something that clashes with it that much. Especially like one point when Splinter's going over like teaching them martial arts, and like there's various sources they use, but one is a super low quality like training video or something.
Well,
like,
I think that was the point.
It's probably the point, but it's
like
just it's kind of funny to see that on the movie theater, like this crappy 360p or something video, maybe ripped from YouTube.
Well, it's kind of funny. I didn't
It's
mind
kind of
them
funny. I
doing
like
that,
if they
but
simulated it though, like within the movie's universe.
I didn't mind it. I was just super distracted during the scene, and this is really early into the movie. They're watching Ferris Bueller at a theater, like an outdoor theater, and for some reason, Donka Shane is playing over it, but not the song that they're singing during that scene, so it's very weird. I had a good time watching this movie. I didn't have any expectations. I hadn't really seen many trailers or anything. What is this cat doing?
She's just trying to be so
Come
bad
here.
right now.
What did you think of Ninja Turtles?
She didn't see it.
I didn't have any expectations going into this. I will say they seemed the youngest they've ever been. I think this is the first time I really believe they were like.
Well, this is the first time I think they were actually voiced by teenagers.
Yeah, especially Donatello.
Yeah, Donatello.
So I think that added a different dynamic because they really seemed like children that were kind of overwhelmed in this world they were jumping into.
Like, I wish the movie would have went a little more serious in some parts. They team up with April, and they're gonna try and stop Superfly from getting all this equipment to, we find out eventually, is to, like, destroy the world, or, like, make every animal a mutant, and the humans, I guess, will just be slaves or something.
Yeah, I guess they assumed humans will be killed or enslaved or something.
Something like that. But like,
but that's sort of
they
generalizing.
just kind of
montage.
montaged
Going
it.
to be evil too, so
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Like maybe this would have backfired really hard on Superfly.
a lot of generalization.
But like they kind of like montage through them fighting all these crooks and stuff. Like they have a bit of a hard time the first time they're fighting a gang, but then it's just like they're montaging through it. It seems a little easy because they're still super noobs at this type of thing.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be that they were catching them by surprise because they were mutants and they weren't expecting that, and maybe they have a leg up as mutants, but you know, they thought that they were doing so well, and then when they faced actual like mutants that were adults and big beefy guys, like they were out of their element.
I just wish the danger just felt a little higher on some of that part.
Yeah. I thought when Superfly first showed up, the music was really creepy. Like, I thought the music was scary. He seemed like a threat. I do think that the pacing of the movie was sometimes a little too mile a minute, so some things didn't hit quite as hard as they could have because it was, you know, they had to keep going with everything.
Even though I like this movie, I do kind of feel like it almost feels like, you know, several episodes of a show put together to like make a bigger movie, you know.
Maybe.
If this was like, you know, a 4-part episode or something.
Yeah, it could have been.
That's kind of how the story felt at certain times. It did kind of ramp up in seriousness as it went. But I was kind of like iffy, I guess, on Superfly when I saw it wasn't Baxter Stockman. I was like, why is he called Superfly?
Oh, yeah, I thought it was Baxter too, but I guess it was his son?
Yeah, it's just a mutant Baxter created in this version, so Baxter doesn't become the Fly. In fact, Baxter gets offed right near the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, they changed the story a lot, but I thought it was an interesting version of Turtles. We've seen it so many times. I didn't mind them doing a different kind of thing with it. Like, it was interesting, and I liked that Shredder wasn't the villain. I kind of forgot about Shredder up until the ending when they have a teaser about him. Like, oh, yeah.
They did exactly pretty much what I thought they were going to do, and it's like, you know, Shredder's not in this one. They'll probably have a tease for Shredder for the next one, so that's exactly what it is. It's like, dun dun dun, like TCRI is like, call in Shredder. The Shredder. I did like the woman running TCRI. Her last name is Utron.
Yeah, she was even kind of dressed like Krang. She talked a little bit like Krang. Well, Utron was the reference to what, the 2003 series, was it?
It was also the original comics.
Oh, they were aliens? Or that's something from the 2003 series?
Yeah, they were aliens.
Oh, okay. Well, then shows how much I know. It was kind of interesting, but like, I don't know. I could take or leave her character, but
it was like kind of gruesome though when she captures the turtles and she's milking them, which was kind of a funny payoff because Splinter's like, you go outside, they're gonna like, the humans will grab you and milk you for your blood, and then it actually happens. I thought it was pretty funny the way they set it up, but it was kind of gruesome when she's actually torturing them by draining their blood.
Is actually draining their blood.
Yeah.
She's not really milking them. I think they're like, we need to soften this a little bit.
Build up to it with jokes, but you know, you think about what's happening, like, they're getting tortured right now and their blood drained. There were some hard moments like that when Splinter comes to save them. He's stabbing some guys in the face. They don't
they do it.
They don't do a zoom in on it or anything. It's like, well, Splinter just killed that guy.
Yeah, they do say killed in this. They do like present,
which is nice.
They go a little harder than like some kids movies might. So that was nice. I do feel like this is the most loser Splinter in any of these. But it's interesting sometimes. Sometimes it feels like it goes into like DreamWorks Ratatouille or whatever.
He wasn't Next Mutation Splinter because he did start doing stuff.
He did do stuff. It was just when they did like his backstory, it felt like it was going a little too far into kids movie stuff. But yeah, but he was kind of funny. I thought Jackie Chan's delivery was pretty good.
Yeah, I like Jackie Chan as Splinter.
Yeah, thought that was interesting. They changed his backstory a lot.
Because he's
backstory's a lot different.
Yeah, all the mutants in this one is just animals, so there's no humans.
Yeah, otherwise
animal hybrids.
Yeah, otherwise the story wouldn't really make any sense if humans turned into animal hybrids. Yeah,
exactly, because they're doing their own thing. I did like Superfly as a villain. I thought he was going to be a bit more, don't know, cutthroat when his men started turning on him.
That seems super easy when they all of a sudden they're like, yeah, actually we didn't want to destroy the world. It's like, we could have shown them maybe having some, misgivings about it or something earlier, but it was just like, oh, you'll let us live with you? I guess we're cool now.
Yeah, the turtles, like, eventually they run into Superfly and his gang, which has, like, a whole bunch of mutants from the show, like Ray Fillet.
Ray Fillet. Is that his only other appearance, other than the 80s show, was on this?
I mean, he's in the comics, like the Turtles Adventures comics, but yeah, I don't know about shows. I can't remember if he was in the 2012 show or not.
I don't remember. I know your joke when it's just, they're like, I got a feeling
You'll never see me again.
Yeah, I got a feeling we're gonna see him again.
No. 87 show wasn't interested in Ray Fillet, which was fine.
Well, I guess they were waiting for this for him to show up again.
Mm-hmm. They had like Wingnut, they had Mondo Gecko in there, and Bebop and Rocksteady, which was kind of weird to just see Bebop and Rocksteady, I guess, part of a big mutant group and not working with Shredder in any capacity. Yeah,
unless, they get turned back to the dark side of the next one. Maybe, they don't seem too loyal. Maybe they'll go over.
Yeah, it might happen. But yeah, it's like they convince all the other mutants to turn on Superfly. I thought when this was happening, it was like, okay, like Mondo Gecko and maybe Leatherhead and stuff, they'll turn.
Yeah, just all of them.
Yeah, but just all of them. I thought Bebop and Rocksteady for sure were not going to turn and join the Turtles, but they did. I was like, oh, okay. Interesting, pure face Bebop and Rocksteady. You don't get that often.
I'll tell you the moment that really won me over. It was when they were having the chase scene in the vans, and they start listening to What's Going On, or What's Up, I think is the name of the song.
Right, yeah.
By Four Non-Blondes, and I was like, oh, I wish it was the funny version, and then it switches to the He-Man one, and then the whole chase scene is scored to that for some reason. The fact that they licensed that out and got that version of the song was hilarious.
The He-Man, you never get the He-Man. You ever thought they'd use that in a real movie?
It was like, this is surreal. I'm watching Turtles on the big screen scored to this He-Man meme song.
Man, that's awesome. You even hear the Skeletor part.
Yeah.
And he prays!
Oh my God, it was, that was just a choice move. It was very good.
Yeah, very good.
I feel like occasionally they would throw things in like that, but I don't think it was too much. Sometimes shows or movies can do a little too much self-referential stuff or meme stuff or self-aware where you're like, I wish they would just do the story. I don't think they did it too much.
Yeah, there's a bit too, they got a bit referencey at different points. There's some reference they made and it's to Hulk in the Avengers movies and stuff like that, and I don't even know what you're talking about. I didn't watch that movie because we were the two people didn't watch all the Avengers movies.
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess I understood from their context what.
Yeah, I got it, but I don't know what.
I guess I would also believe.
Mark Ruffalo improv the scene.
That's true. I guess I would believe that. 4 teenage turtles that grew up in a sewer just watching TV and movies probably had a lot of pop culture references, and that's how they view the world because they weren't allowed out there. So I guess it didn't seem too much to me.
There's just periods where I thought, okay, you don't need to make a reference here. There's parts where they completely dropped it, and then I forgot they were doing that, then they kind of dip into it again. All right.
I thought it was kind of funny when Donatello wants them to sing some, I think it was K-pop songs or something, and then they're like, okay, and then they didn't know the words. They were still kind of sad that they were being tortured at the time, so it's kind of sincere, words. I just really like the delivery when he said that.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
This is kind of remind me of the 2012 one where April's kind of the same age as them. And it was kind of interesting because when Superfly eventually mutates into this giant whale thing with a whole bunch of animals attached to him, turned into a giant creature attacking the city, she runs into Channel 6, which they even have the old Channel 6 logo. Right. And she just takes over the news and the people film, oh my gosh, this teenage girl's gonna give us the real story. We'll just run this.
Yeah, I liked her in this. I wish her introduction to the Turtles Turtles hadn't been quite so rushed, because they were doing this sort of like, haha, everyone's cool with it. Isn't it funny that she's like super cool with it real quick? And like, you know, it was a little too speed through it. But I liked her relationship with them. Like, she took initiative to like talk to Splinter, and like, you know, she saved their butts in the end.
Yeah. It was a little funny though, like when the Turtles are torn about the Superfly plan about siding with him and stuff, or protecting the humans, and they choose to go against Superfly, and they're like, all right, April, help! And then she just speeds away on her scooter. We made the wrong choice.
That's really good. She could have given a shout out like, I'll be back, or something, but she's like,
no. Stone cold April.
What I thought was kind of interesting about this, she's the only human in this, as far as I recall, that doesn't look like a garbage pail kid or something. They made this odd decision for everyone to have asymmetrical faces, except for her. Like, in the mutants, and some of them are asymmetrical, but the turtles aren't. But anyway, like, she's the only human I can remember in this that doesn't have like a weird like jaw or nose that sticks to the side, or a weird thick neck or whatever. Like, it's
some of the humans
weird.
that helped at the end.
Yeah, but most of them are very ugly.
Which you mentioned, like, remind you of Spider-Man. Like, oh, you mess with Spider-Man, you mess with New York.
Yeah,
you mess with all of us.
Yeah, you mess with all of us. You mess with Spidey.
That's the big turning point, because everyone's listening to April's broadcast, and they're like, yeah, I guess that little girl on the news is right. They're the good guys.
A lot of Spider-Man connections. This was very much the way it was because of Into the Spider-Verse. Or
Yeah. It like
It's,
had that exact same look to the movement and all that.
But I appreciate that animation is changing, so everything is not so homogenous right now, because even though this is similar to what they did in Spider-Man, it is an interesting look that we haven't seen in Turtles before. I like that it kind of seemed like a grungy, weird 80s, 90s now pastiche of sorts.
They had like a lot of kind of lo-fi type music. The credits had a lot of that, and they had that kind of vibe for the credits.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it felt different than other Turtles stuff, and I think it was the best Turtles movie we've had in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's way better than the Michael Bay ones,
better
for
than the
sure.
Michael Bay ones. What was before that? The 2012 one? Didn't they do the animated CG
2007.
one? Oh, it was 2007.
Yeah.
Right. 2012 was the Nickelodeon one.
Yeah.
And I think they did a movie for their other animated one that wasn't theatrical.
Oh, right.
But,
But
I think this was the best like theatrical movie they've had in a long time. So yeah, I had a good time with it.
Yeah, no, I'd recommend it. It's a nice different take on Turtles. Like, get into some spoilery stuff about the ending. It's very interesting that they have the humans fully accept the Turtles at the end. They're going
to
like...
But they still live in the sewers.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. I was going to bring that up. I was like, they're fully accepted by the humans. They're going to high school, but they still live in the sewers. They saved the damn city, and they still have to live in the sewers?
Maybe they just like living in the sewers. Maybe Splinter likes it, because Splinter's a fucking weirdo in this.
Yeah,
so maybe he's just
definitely a weirdo.
I'm into this. I do kind of like
Splinter got like a girlfriend who's like this bug mutant.
Yeah.
I forget which one it was.
Yeah, they kind of do the, he's the disapproving father who won't let them go out because he wants to protect them, but he's kind of being overbearing about it. But I think like they pulled back enough, it didn't feel like just going into cliches. And I did think it was pretty funny when he doesn't know they're going out and hanging out with April and doing all this stuff, and he's like, how do I fix this with them? Like, I'm gonna bring the human world to them. So
and
he
brings them a Chris Pine as Captain Kirk standee. Well, that was funny.
Yeah, he brings them like some standees of some actors.
To bash Chris.
Yeah, and he's like pretending to be a waiter, and he's like, order anything, but it has to be pizza. So that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Like, the introduction of Splinter was kind of weak. Like, I wish they gave him a little more mystique, a bit more presence when they first introduced him, because they were just kind of first like, oh, look at this dummy.
Yeah, I wish his backstory had not been so goofy, but he still got to be as goofy as he
more
was.
gravitas.
Yeah.
When he first shows up, kind of like the 1990 movie.
Yeah, I think it took something away a little bit that they all learned martial arts together. He didn't teach it to them. I mean, I guess he taught it to them by watching all that stuff, but they were kind of learning together, so it felt a little less like he was more experienced than them, because he wasn't.
It's still better than Tony Shalhoub. Splinter finding that how-to ninja book in the sewer, and that was it.
Why was Tony Shalhoub Splinter? Ever? Like, what in the world was going on there?
Any of those choices were
But they did have the best pizza tie-in with the Pizza Hut Katana style pizzas, which were very good.
The pizzas they had in this movie, they sort of had the Pizza Hut logo, not directly, but they had the little hut-like thing on the box.
Right. I shouldn't say they had the best Pizza Hut tie-in. They had a better pizza tie-in than this, but the best Pizza Hut tie-in was the 90s movie, and they had that Pizza Hut commercial in front of the VHS,
the coupons in the VHS.
Yeah, that was the best Pizza Hut.
I have some of those coupons.
Amazing. You think they're still valid?
Yeah.
Still honored?
Well, they honored them at some, because someone took one of those to a pizza.
Someone did that once. It was amazing. You know what the thing is? Turtles is just awesome. It's got such a great longevity. Even though there's been not great Turtles properties, it's continuously going, and I like that they reinvent themselves, because even though there's ones that haven't really been for me or haven't really worked for other people, it's continuously doing something, and I think that's great that they're, it doesn't feel like this is Spider-Man's origin for the millionth time. Like, they did something different with this one.
Yeah, I would like to see, another kind of Turtles Forever-ish thing that actually got every iteration of Turtles in there together to do something together. That would be neat. And like,
all these
this
multiverse things are popular now. So
exactly.
Now's the time to strike.
And this movie is doing that style, like in Spider-Verse, into the Turtles verse.
Yeah, it's a gimme. Yeah, I thought this was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Go watch it. And there's a nice introduction by Seth Rogen where he's like, "Oh, this is a Turtles movie, enjoy."
Yeah, you do the thing. I can't do the laugh. And he's like, I'm fucking, was he Bebop or Rocksteady? Which is the pig? Bebop is the pig. And I'm like, oh, what a fucking surprise. I knew he was going to be the pig. So he's like, and I'm like, oh, he's the pig.
Go watch it. Yeah, beyond.